I am resident of Collinwood for YouTube. Joel Sains. That's my buddy Patrick McCray. That's my buddy Gordon Dymowski. That's my buddy Alan Gallant. We're here to review the Wild Wild West, episode one, well, season one, episode one.
Yes.
And this starts off with a bit of like a false flag because Jim West is arrested, and this is all part of the plot where he meets President Grant, and they are going to have him as an undercover Secret Service agent with all these cool gadgets and stuff. You also get to meet, I like how Artemis Gordon is introduced in this episode because he's in disguise. He's like this, you're going to get hung, which is funny.
A drunk soldier, basically, with some, I think he's got some chewing tobacco in his front lip to make him look weird. But you can still tell it's him, which is great because then when it's revealed later.
He looks like Francis McDormand.
Yeah, a little bit.
What did you guys think of the pilot episode of the Wild Wild West here? Gordon, you first.
It's fine. I mean, it does what it's supposed to do.
It's a good sell. It's a good sell for the the suits. As a pilot, it goes immediately into what you need to know without too much having to explain it too much. It's very economical in the way that you are presented as the viewer with what's happening. So that's a good thing, especially the first like 10 or 15 minutes of it. Just takes you right there.
Yeah. Patrick?
I thought it was good. I thought it did, as I think we've said, it did its job. It gave you a nice, it was frankly a much more complicated Wild Wild West episode than we typically would get, I think. It seemed like, kind of multiple villains to deal with. We saw the gadgets very clearly shown, so they wouldn't have to do it again. We saw the train in action, and it's really good stuff like with that. And we got sort of an idea of how the mechanics of it worked. And so I enjoyed all of that. Yes, great. Yes, that's fine. I'll do that.
Okay.
Yeah. What's funny is the makers of Red Dead Redemption 2, there's an online character who you can bounty hunt against. It's a female. And I think the makers of Red Dead Redemption 2 watched the Wild Wild West a bit because the backstory of the woman, of the female villain you go up against, is sort of similar to the male villain in this episode. It's ironic if they didn't. Because she sets stuff on fire. She sets buildings on fire. She outright murders people, her and her group.
Right.
And it's sort of similar to how this is done. It's just, uncanny.
The guest stars in the roles that they play, which are all important, are fantastic in this. I mean, you start off with Nehemiah Persoff, who everyone thought was going to live to be 100,000 years old because he lived to be 103. He just passed away, I think, maybe a year and a half ago. What an amazing character actor. I mean, this guy worked forever. But the 60s were probably his biggest. He worked on a lot of stuff. Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. He was, Land of the Giant. I mean, he was on a ton of stuff. And he's absolutely, of course, he's stereotypical in this, but he's stereotypically brilliant in this, playing this murder guy. Basically, the guy's homicidal. But then we find out later he's a beard. He's a fake. Well, he's real, but he's not the number one guy, as we find out. Mm-hmm. We get the Chinese merchant, who is actually not even a Chinese merchant, as we find out at the end. So they do all of this double whammy stuff and the fake makeup and all this sort of thing. All the stuff that's going to set you up for the rest of the series. It's pretty good. And Victor Buono, of course, is always elevates everything that he's in.
Right. I was thrilled to see him. I was like,
Yeah.
there he is. I told
Yeah.
you my monkey theory, right? Have you heard about this monkey theory? That
you may have, but I'm not.
Apparently, there's sort of this weird social theory out there that nobody goes more than a week without hearing the word monkey or seeing one on television, like educational TV or something like that.
Yes.
Or the news or whatever, and that it's just this weird thing. For me, it's not that; it's Victor Buono.
Yeah, it's true. It's popping up.
So there he is, Victor Buono again. Oh, look, it's one of those pop squeeze it dolls or whatever they are.
Yes.
It's the Victor Buono one. It's the Victor Buono all the time, 24/7.
Yeah, it's incredible too because his career in the public eye was only about a dozen years.
He died very young.
He did.
43, I think.
Yeah, but he was playing older character roles from the time he was in his early 20s, or mid 20s. Incredible character actor, really, really versatile guy.
Good poet.
Yes, he was a writer and a poet. He was incredibly well educated and self-effacing to a fault, but here he just adds another dash of spice to this pilot episode, which, sold American, and I can see why it was sold.
And clearly somebody the producers are going to want to keep around because they bring him back, I think, as the most frequent guest villain beyond Loveless. Is that right?
That sounds right.
Yeah, he's yes, technically, but he's only in 2 episodes in season 2.
Okay.
So if you count this one, he is behind Loveless.
Okay. I was about to say he shows up in the TV movie, but that's Jonathan Winters, who shows up in the second of the 2 TV movies.
Yeah.
More Wild Wild West. He's the villain in that.
I think Buono might be in Wild Wild West Revisited. Don't quote me on that.
Who?
Victor Buono.
Is he? It's Paul Williams, I think, is
Paul Williams is the sort of Loveless character, yeah.
With Shields and Yarnell as $600 people in Planet of the Apes gorilla costumes.
Yes.
But not mask. Very, very surreal.
It was.
Robert Conrad, bad mustache.
Oh, yeah.
Fake mustache. He's living in Mexico. I guess he was required by Mexican law to grow it.
Well, I did what Jewel would do and looked up Victor Buono on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
It mentions that he played Count Manzepi, unrelated to characters in that series' premiere episode, in the second and final Wild Wild West reunion film, More Wild Wild West.
Yeah. I think that's one I haven't seen.
Fabulous. Yeah. This is, this is great fare. When I was a kid watching these kind of, double take kind of plot lines, I got a huge kick out of this stuff. And I think that was kind of the line, to get people to like go, a little bit, just a little bit, and then expect, of course, then you have to propagate it, which I think they did to a reasonable degree over a period of years. So, but certainly the color episodes became much more flamboyant, not only for their color, but also for their character. So.
Yeah. It's nice too. The Wild Wild West writers were really smart too, they deceive you a bit by, okay, here's your villain. No, not quite really. He's a villain, but he's not the main villain. But they had you believing he was, which gets right back into the whole spy bit. It's like you sort of need it. It gives Jim West and Artemis Gordon even more reason to exist. Yeah,
it's skullduggery, and it's typical spy stuff. We're gonna we're going to pull the old switcheroo on you. It's not him, it's me, you know, that kind of thing. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's really cool. I like the rattlesnakes.
Yeah, I love Suzanne Plachette. There's nothing in my basement but wine. See, and then he drags her like 3 levels down until there's a Napoleon cannon, ostentatiously placed. That was pretty funny.
He has a nice big ass basement though.
She has it's like this catacomb or something. You know, it's perfect. With a side office for our first villain.
That's what you have.
Which is pretty hilarious as well.
Yeah, it was so huge. I mean, I can't even imagine having that as a set design. They're like, okay, we're gonna have it be this large to make it.
Yeah.
Again, it makes sense what you're doing. You make it look bigger, so you're having 2 villains. It worked. It worked really well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was a nice taste of things to come as the show developed.
And we see them search Jim West, but he also has a gun in his shoe. That was badass.
Yeah, and that was actually a nice bit of misdirection, because when you see the scene where, okay, he's putting the knife in his back, in his back holster, he puts the thing in the lockpick
lapel thing,
and and you think, oh, okay, he's ready to go, but within moments that's all taken away, which is really smart. It's really smart writing.
It's the same maneuver John Carpenter would do with Snake Plissken.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
remember how well armed he is when he goes in? He's almost immediately completely disarmed by the mutants and chock full of nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But still bristling with ability.
Sure.
It's
kind of the opposite of Chekhov's gun,
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. And for those who are wondering, Chekhov's gun is where you introduce a gun in Act 1 and you use it to shoot Ensign Chekhov in Act 3.
Right.
Yes.
There's a specter. You killed my brother Piotr.
Yeah. Piotr.
Yeah, using someone's own weapon against them is nice. It's nice.
This vessel has got me down.
What's that?
Joel, you speak from experience.
Yeah. What's you guys' favorite scene in this episode? You got a couple?
I think anything involving the gadgets. I love the gadgets.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
I also like the confrontation over the pool game. Was kind of fun.
Yeah, and I like that pool game, because they do, they have him. Once West is confronted, okay, he slides the pool score thing over, and that lets Artemis know, don't go here. Yeah. Then Victor Buono, it kind of realizes that there's a trick cue, and so West just slams the pool scoring thing down, and it starts exploding like fireworks.
Mm-hmm.
That is smart writing, where it's not just, oh, okay, we're going to shoot out. It's
right, because and it also makes sense. It's not like a Deus Ex Machina, because we know that this guy is bristling with gadgets, and that there's certain things that are always around to help these guys. So it's not like it's not coming out of nowhere at this point. We understand that there's this technology around them.
Yeah, it's a really cool episode, and it's a really cool pilot. This was a 10 out of 10 for me, guys. What do you guys give it?
I give it an 8 out of 10, only because I know what's coming in subsequent seasons. But it's a great first shot.
Yeah, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 too, only because this first season, I think the first season of any show is usually you're trying to work through stuff, and this particular season was also very tough because there's a lot of scenes, a lot of turmoil behind the scenes. The creator actually passed away in August of '66. So luckily, he fell downstairs and fractured his skull. So he didn't continue on with the second season. But I think once you get to season 2, you've got Bruce Lansbury, who he realizes that, okay, I've got 2 leads. Let's make them co-leads. You look at a similar show like Man from U.N.C.L.E. They kind of, after their first season, which was kind of similar in terms of being a little bit more gritty and,
Sure.
they go, okay, with Uncle, Robert Vaughn's a little bit more deadpan snarker, and David McCallum's a little droll. What we'll do is, okay, first, West and Gordon, it's a bromance, although they didn't have that word at the time.
Right.
Gordon is the charming, rational guy, and Conrad is the charming ladies' man and will kick your ass.
Right. It's man of action. He's the man of action. Whereas Gordon is more the sort of undercover guy.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Is there anything you guys want to add before we go?
Well, I do have a question for everyone. Okay, Victor Buono, Thayer David, MMA cage match, no holds barred. Who wins? Go.
Oh boy, Thayer David. And I'll tell you why. Even though he has less mass, he played football in college, and I suspect has a lot of density built up. And I think Victor was more of a sensitive chap, and probably was not as used to physical confrontations.
And I also think that Thayer could drink Victor under the table too.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and plus I think Thayer David would have to be like he had to work with Dan Curtis on a regular basis. So I think there'd be a lot of pent up hostility, and Victor Buono he'd be an easy target.
And it also depends on how much oil is involved.
Well, that's true. Then you can have, then you can have a retelling of the Oliver Reed,
Alan Bates
story. Right.
Speaking of Oliver Reed and Alan Bates, I believe Gordon was asking Jewel your thoughts on all this.
Thayer David's going to win easily.
We're company men.
Yes, we are.
God.
All part of ABC Studio 16 conspiracy. Yeah.
That's right.
Oh God.
She's serenading now.
That laugh is the last laugh your victims hear.
Well, here's one for you: the Dark Shadows zombies versus the Night of the Living Dead zombies. Who wins?
Oh, the Night of the Living Dead zombies. I'm sorry.
What?
The Night of the Living Dead zombies are going to win because they actually eat human flesh.
Oh, I think Chuck Morgan eats. I think Chuck Morgan eats a lot.
Oh, well, yes,
He's
but not necessarily human flesh. I think.
But you know what? It's just whatever.
Chicken leg. That's right.
All right. What are we doing next, guys?
I don't know. I'm open. Jewel, what do you think?
Well, we could do something tomorrow night at 10:30.
Right.
So,
okay. Maybe a feature.
Yeah,
I have a. You want to do a feature film?
Okay. Yeah, we do a feature.
I'm open, Alan. What were you going to suggest?
Well, I was thinking we hadn't done a Dark Shadows in a while because we had a delay.
Yeah. That's true.
And at some point, doesn't have to be right away, I'd like to do episode 675, in which Chris Jennings' secret is discovered.
Okay.
So we can do that tomorrow.
Okay, that'll work.
675 tomorrow night. We'll be talking. Yep. So this has been a lot of fun. Link to Gordon Dymowski's Amazon page and website will be in the description box. Link to Patrick McCray's Dark Shadows Daybook Unbound will be in the description box. Link to Alan Gallant's YouTube channel, Collins Port After Dark, will be in the description box. You guys have a safe night. Take care.
Wicked good.
Right on.